Hello and welcome everyone to our web on HANA come S4 HANA training course on YouTube with me Amrit. So in the previous session we saw some basics part of HANA like what is HANA, why do we need row store and what is the difference between row store and column store and lots of things we saw in the previous session. Now from in this part we are going to continue it. So let's say what happened when HANA came into the picture. So how does how does or how life of an a web developer changes because of HANA. So how life of an web developer changes because of HANA. Because of HANA. How life of an web developer changes because of HANA. Think on it. How does it changes? So if we talk about our SAP architecture in our SAP architecture SAP architecture of HANA earlier, SAP architecture for HANA, we have we have presentation layer, right? We have presentation layer, application layer, then we have database layer, right? So HANA DB. At this moment we have these things. Now just think what actually has been changed now. What has things has been changed. So if I go and check before, so what was happening before, what we were doing before S4 HANA. So I can simply write till now what we were doing. So till now what I was doing was I was writing using selection screen. This is the same thing we do. We create a selection screen and we take input in form of parameters and select options, right? Then we write let's say select star from database table, DB table into some internal table, itab. This is what we do. Then we loop at itab into work area. This is the same thing we do now. Then we display data to ALV report. This is the next thing we do. Then after update or delete, and at last we commit changes. So this thing we were doing before S4 HANA. Using selection screen, we were writing query. Then we were looping, displaying the ALV, updating, or if there was some requirement, deleting, and at last we were committing the changes. So this particular paradigm is known as data to code paradigm. This particular paradigm is known as data to code paradigm. Okay, this paradigm in which what we do, bringing data from database layer to the application layer where our logic part is there, code part is there, right? So earlier when we were not working on S4 HANA, what we were doing, we were simply bringing the database layer data to the application layer, we were loading it, then we were performing all these things, right? So bringing data from data part to code part, that is what we call it data to code paradigm. This is the same definition, data to code paradigm. Now, what are the changes that happened in S4 HANA? So after S4 HANA, So with addition of our S4 HANA, with addition of HANA, our purpose has changed. Our purpose has become to use the database layer more effectively, more and more effectively, because it is a very costly software. Lots of features are there. We will see it. Lots and lots of features are there of our HANA database. So with addition of HANA, our purpose has become to use the database layer more effectively and for most logical and analytical part also. Logical and analytical part also. Okay. So here, instead of writing everything on the application layer, now application layer is not going to be used more, because my HANA is very powerful. Instead of using all these things, what I will do, we will send something from some input from application layer. We'll send something from ABAP layer, from ABAP layer, BAP layer to the DB layer, and we will be doing most of the processing part, most of the processing part on database layer only. Most of the processing part on database layer only. And we already know HANA DB is more powerful and works on multi-processing concept, right? Multi-processing concept. And since data is also there, then it becomes really easier, right? Then it becomes really easier to perform operation and return the result to the application layer. So instead of loading all the data to our application layer where we were performing all the logical part at that time, now we don't need it. I will simply take some input from our application layer and I am going to write all the logical part directly on HANA database layer, perform every operation directly on the on our database layer. And we already know data is directly there. So instead of loading where on the application layer, now my application layer is more free. I know my database is very powerful. It can perform everything together. At the same time, it has a multi-processing concept. So now we are going to perform most of our operation part directly on our HANA database. This programming paradigm is known as code to data paradigm. Code to data paradigm. Code to data paradigm. So usually people have lots of confusion. What is this paradigm? What does it means? So this programming paradigm is called code data paradigm. Okay. Here what we will be doing here in code to data paradigm, we will be pushing data incentive logic to the database layer itself, we will be pushing the data incentive logic to database layer itself. This is what known as code to data paradigm. We will be pushing our data incentive logic to the database layer itself. This is what known as code to data paradigm. Okay. Now the question here is how HANA got adopted by industries. How How HANA got adopted by industries. Adopted by industries. It was not that easy task. Most of the companies are still working on ECC system, but how SAP has told them that they will stop support after 2027, so they are not going to help after that. But when HANA came into the picture, it was so costly, and things are not going like this way that I will simply launch a product very costly and I will expect my client to simply use it, right? So what SAP did, SAP has provided lots of support, provided lots and lots of support, lots and lots of support to users, to their users about about how they can transfer themselves or they can migrate themselves to HANA, right? To HANA. Also, SAP provided them HANA database connectivity to connect their existing ECC or Oracle databases to HANA and then migrate their data to HANA, right? So, SAP provided HANA DB connectivity to connect their existing ECC or some RDBMS DB, let's say Oracle DB, to HANA, okay, and then migrate their data to HANA, okay. Also, what SAP did, it provided a approach, okay. So it told that this is your ECC system, okay. This is your SAP ECC system where you have Oracle DB or let's say Oracle DB. Now it provided a HANA DB connectivity, HANA DB connectivity to connect with HANA. And it asked that you perform the same thing over here, okay, and perform the same operation over here and just check the efficiency, just check the performance, which one is more effective and which one is giving you more and more results. So the performance that was calculated over this one was very less, million times less if we compare about the HANA, and we know the reason already. What is happening? We have here code to data paradigm. We have here all the data performing directly on our RAM. We don't need the use of our hard disk because all our active data is directly going to be on RAM. So that is why the performance here was very high. So SAP provided them, and also what SAP did, it showed them, SAP showed them the efficiency of HANA DB, the efficiency HANA DB comparing with the ACC or Oracle, okay. And slowly and gradually SAP won, okay. So slowly and gradually SAP won the trust of their customers, and then they started to migrate on HANA, okay, started to migrate on HANA. So SAP has told to end the support of ECC by 2027. So this is one of the challenging thing in the market. Most of the system is still working on ECC system, okay. Most of the system is still working on ECC system, and SAP has told to end the support by 2027. So we must migrate to HANA system because S4 HANA is the fastest thing. Why it is fastest? Because of this code to data paradigm. Here we are going to simply push the incentive logic directly to database layer part. We don't need application. Earlier our load was mostly on application layer, that is why performance was very low. Now we have data and code both on database layer, so everything is more and more, performance is very high, right? So guys, this is all about this third lecture.